Okay, here we are under the car, and the first thing we're going to do is take my $12.99 hydraulic jack special, put it underneath the car here. I've got this cool little bracket that's pretty much used for towing the vehicle, so it's pretty much going to lift it with no problem. Make sure this little top guy here spins, center that right on that bar, set it up there, make sure it's not going to move left or right, and then just jack the car up. I do not have jacks to put it underneath. I don't have special little ramps to put it underneath, so I am just going to take a chance. I don't recommend you doing this. I'm crazy, so go ahead and do it. But I mean, if you want to, go ahead and get yourself a pair of jacks, put them underneath the car, and then let the car sit on the jacks so that there is no danger of it falling. I'm pretty good here. This is not going to move. My wife is with me and has the phone, so she can call 911. I've got my rear wheels blocked. I've got the emergency brake on. I'm going to shake the living daylights out of this thing to make sure it's not going to fall on me. And then once I'm pretty much safe, or feel that I'm going to be safe, I'm going to begin. Take your rag, clean up the oil filter a little bit, and clean up the pan. First things first, locate the bolt. That's where the oil is going to come out of. Here's your oil filter. First thing we're going to do is loosen it up, remembering the rules, righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. Put the wrench on the oil filter, turn it, get it loose to the point where you can do it with your hand, and then just leave it there. Next thing you're going to do, grab an oil pan and stick it underneath where the oil is going to come out. It's going to collect into this thing. That's going to make it easy for disposal. Next, grab a wrench. I've already sized it to make sure that that's the right wrench. Get in there and loosen the bolt. Don't go crazy trying to tighten it up, because if you break that bolt, you got some issues. Now, remember, the oil is hot. So when you take this off, put a little pressure on it to keep it in there until it's totally loose. And then once it's out, pull it all the way out and just let the oil go. Take your little rag and clean your bolt. Inspect your bolt for any damage. Make sure the threads are okay. Clean it up a little bit. There's a whole bunch of other stuff you're going to be doing. Put that bolt somewhere safe. I'm going to put it right on top of the jack here. I'm going to move this over a little bit. Oil is still draining into it, but now my filter is loose. I'm just going to unscrew it and let it do its drippy thing. This whole process should take about 4 to 5 minutes to drain it all out. Let it drain all the way out. Let it take its time. Now, one thing that you might want to do is, since pretty much the engine has a compression device, I'm just going to jump up to the top here and loosen the oil cap. That's going to let the oil cycle down a little bit. Then I'll just pose for the camera. Okay, enough of that. Back underneath the car. And of course the kids are still running around on their bicycles checking on Dad to make sure he's not dead. The insurance policy has been checked and there is plenty there, so no worries. Nicely dripping. While that's all draining, I'm going to go ahead and do the next thing that I've got to do. I don't know if my wifey can get me. By the way, that's my wife running the camera. She's the most beautiful thing on the planet. God, I love her. I don't know if she can get me with the camera over here, but right in here is my oil pressure switch that's bad. As you can see, it's leaking up a storm. So once I get this oil filter out of the way, I'm going to go ahead and take that puppy out and replace it. It's got a little switch here that I've got to remove. So I basically just get in there and clip it. Oh, it's being difficult. I'm going to have to go ahead and clean that up a bit. All I'm going to do though is go ahead and take this oil filter out here. And it is full of oil. So when you unscrew it, be careful. Tip it upside down and just dump it in there. This is why you have to have that rag. When you take the oil filter out, just take your little rag. Just do a little bit of cleaning here. Take all the loose dirt. Just do a little bit side inspection, make sure that it's okay. What I'm going to do is take the new filter and show you guys that there's a gasket inside the filter. Sometimes that gasket gets so old that it sticks to the engine. Make sure that it's not there, because if you put the double gasket on, it's going to be a mess. Just make sure that the gasket is gone and that everything is nice and clean and you're ready for a new filter. But now what I'm going to do is take this oil pressure switch out, which of course is seriously stuck. Well, the connector is stuck anyway. Alright, so since the connector is stuck, I'll just go ahead and unscrew it anyway. All I'm doing is taking a pair of pliers, adjustable pliers, and turning it ever so loosely. If it doesn't go with just you turning it by hand like this, I mean, if it's going to be difficult and get stuck, take it to a mechanic, because if you break that, you've got to replace this whole housing, which is not cheap. I've got it to the point where it's nice and loose. Unscrew it by hand. And there it is. Now I can see why the heck it won't come out. And it won't come out because the little plastic tab that holds it in place is broken. There we go. I win. That's my old oil pressure switch. Let's put it there. Let's clean the connector. And you can hear my oldest in the background giving instructions on how to ride a scooter to the girls. Now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to put the new oil pressure switch on. And what I've got is the new oil pressure switch, but everything on the internet and everything in the manual said over and over and over again, use some sort of a sealant. Well, the guys at the auto parts store had no idea what I was talking about, but they said that most mechanics like to use this Teflon tape. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to apply, this is like plumber's tape, except it's made for automotive use. I'm just going to apply a little bit of Teflon tape onto the unit here. There we go. And then I'm going to put the unit back in. And of course it's being a little bit difficult, but in the end I will prevail. Hand tighten it as much as you can, and then switch back to the pliers. But do not over tighten it. Just take it to where it's nice and snug. Because again, if you break this thing in there, you've got some issues. I think this can go a little bit more with my hand. Yeah. Okay. It's going to take a little bit, but here we go. It's a pain in the butt, but there it goes. she's getting nice and tight. I think that's about as tight as I want to take it. Nice and snug. Okay. Now the oil has pretty much stopped dripping. Hopefully I had something else to do, so I'm just going to take my little rag here and wipe a little bit off here. Clean that up. Okay. Now the one thing that I do want to do is I want to take my new oil filter and dig in here and take out my old oil filter, which is now dripping. And one of the things that they suggest online is punch a hole in the top of that thing and let it drain all the way. But just turn it sideways and compare the two and make sure that, yeah, the gaskets line up, that you got the right filter. Now that also does one other thing. It's like it takes the oil, old oil, and put some oil, new oil, old oil, doesn't really matter, just as long as you lubricate that ring a little bit so that when you tighten it up, it's not dry on dry and you'll damage the ring. A little bit of oil on there lubricates it. And one of the things that I like to do is I like to take a Sharpie and write on the filter. I don't even know what today's date is, but that's close enough. It's a message from my wife. That tells me when I change the oil filter. And then just screw it back on. Hand tighten it as much as you can. Okay, once it's hand tightened like that, clean it up a little bit. Take your oil wrench, slip it on. And incidentally, that's what these are for. These things on the bottom, these little knobs, they're to catch onto the oil wrench. Okay, you just want to not do that. You don't want to drop the oil wrench into the old oil because now you've got a sticky mess. I told you I was going to turn this into a comedy. And there it is. Take your rag and clean your oil wrench. And realize that it can slip out of your hand and it is going to fall into that nasty old oil. See, that's why you always want to have a tool. Okay, now, you just want to tighten it a little bit. You don't want to torque this puppy on there so that it'll never come off. Once that's done, we're good to go. Clean up your mess. Clean up around here. Take that, clean it up. And then here's the next part that's going to be fun. Casey, I will talk to you in a second. Okay, take your bolt. And put your bolt. Don't drop it into the oil. Tighten her up. Take your wrench. Same thing again. Do not go crazy and man, tighten that thing. No, you just want to tighten it so it's on there snug and ready for oil. Now, the only step that I've got to do here is I've got to plug in my oil sensor. Of course, you're not going to be doing that unless you're changing the oil sensor, and I would suggest changing it if it starts to leak on you. So I'll just plug that puppy in. And now we're good to go. We're going to stop filming at this point, and then I'm going to go up to the top and we're going to put oil in it.